Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Thursday morning, the 4th of September. Okay, we're going back to Nova Scotia today to talk about the case of missing siblings 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan from Lansdowne Station. They were reported missing at 10:01 a.m. when their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, called the cops on the morning of the 2nd of May. So it's over 4 months now that Lily and Jack have been missing. And not a sign of them. Nothing. Zero. And the case was somewhat in the doldrums, apart from a bunch of untruths and misinformation, until court documents were released to a number of media outlets, and some social media commentators, reporters have also got them, and I've got them now. So thank you so much, Sonny from It's a Crime in Shame, for sending me the almost 500 pages of court documents. And it sounds like a lot, but a lot of these words are the same because, as is normal in cases like this, if you follow cases really closely and you look at discovery and court documents and things like that, you will see that they tend to use similar wordings when they're putting in affidavits that support things like search warrants and record requests and things like that. All the cops working on the case use the same basic information. Obviously, they don't all write their affidavits from scratch, and they just add to as new information is found. They may tailor it a little bit to the particular warrant or particular request that they're dealing with at the time. I'll just give you an example here. So this is an application for access or copies of the records between May the 1st at 2:25 p.m. and May the 2nd. So any identification information, telephone and other electronic communications, etc. and GPS. And this was signed by a judge on the 16th of May. So just 2 weeks after Lily and Jack were reported missing. And therefore, all the information in here is only up to the 16th of May. When we get to a later document, like this one, and this is another record request, but this is from July, signed by a judge on the 16th of July. So there's a lot more in this document because the basic information has been updated. So in this video, we're going to use this most recent information and we're going to walk in the path of the cops. We are going to think like a cop today. We're going to look at the information in relation to the initial search for Lily and Jack, but we're going to think like a cop. Let's go. Before we get into the video, can I ask once again, if you're not yet subscribed to this channel, please do so. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year so that YouTube will send me a reward just in time for Christmas, a silver play button plaque for my wall. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, it is completely free. Alright. So yesterday, if you watched yesterday's video, actually for the last couple of days, I've been talking about the search for Lily and Jack on this channel. And yesterday I read some of the information from the court documents relating to the ground search. And I want to pick that up again and just read you a little bit here about the boot prints, because the boot prints were thoroughly investigated by the cops, which leads me to believe that they truly believed at the time that Lily and Jack had wandered off into the woods and they were lost, possibly injured. So this is from initial information, ground search and rescue, between May 2nd and May 7th. On May 7th, the cops had a press conference saying they had reason to believe that the children were no longer alive and they were toning down their searches. They did more searches after, but this massive influx of cops from different counties and volunteers, it all got toned down, and that is such a shame. Such a shame. I think they should have carried on longer. As I said in yesterday's video, I don't think they were thorough enough. What they did was great. I just don't think they did enough of it. That's just my opinion. The ground search and rescue was run by Amy Hansen, the search manager, on the day of May the 2nd, so the day they were reported missing, Friday night into Saturday morning. So they were reported missing at 10:01 a.m. on Friday morning, and then a few hours later, Friday night into Saturday morning, they found boot prints on the pipeline. There were clumps of them, and they were 2 different sizes. They were small in size and corresponded to what children would wear. We were told, everyone was told, that Lilly and Jack went out in their boots. They put their boots on and they'd gone out. So these were small, children-sized boot prints. So they focused their search in the area because of the boot prints. They did grid searches in the area of the boot prints and expanded out to waterways in that area as well. They conducted more searches in the area of the house. They brought in heavy urban dogs who use air scenting to find people that are alive. Now, I talked yesterday about the problems with air scenting dogs, so go and check that out. If you want me to do a more detailed video just about dogs and the different types of search dogs, I have done it before on this channel. I've talked about search dogs in, relation to numerous cases, but if you want me to do a standalone video on search dogs because you want me to refresh that information, let me know and I can do that for you. But they weren't sure that these boot prints were Lilly's or Jack's. They heard reports, so the ground search and rescue, of people with kids out searching. Why would you take your kids out searching, especially little kids that were going to wear, small boot sizes? I understand that local people wanted to help, but why would you take your kids? What if you find dead bodies? I know May the 2nd they were assuming that Lilly and Jack were just lost and, were alive, but what if you found 2 dead bodies that had been torn apart by a bear and your kids were there? Would you want that? Anyway, so it meant that there was this problem with the boot prints and assuming that they were Lilly and Jack's because there were people out searching with children. But they did think it was an out-of-the-way area for people to bring their kids to search. In the area of the search, they checked blinds, tree stands and other structures that were open. They opened car doors if they were unlocked but didn't enter the house. So focusing on the boot prints, and there was an investigation specifically about the boot prints. So if we're thinking like a cop, they found boot prints and they want to try to find out, as well as they can, whether they were Lilly and Jack's boots. Because if they were Lilly and Jack's boots, it proves that they were out there, at least at some point, that they'd been out there, and this is a little bit away from their home. If we look at the map here, I've got this map facing north because this becomes relevant shortly. Okay, so this is their home here, and this is the pipeline. Okay, this is the pipeline. And if Lilly and Jack went by the road, then they'd walk down the highway, they'd take a right up Lansdowne Road, and that then intersects here with the pipeline. But we don't know that they went that way. They could have gone this way and then took a left and gone up here. Because we don't know whereabouts on this pipeline the boot prints were found. We just know that there were clumps of them. And we know that they focused quite heavily on this lake, these ponds. So were the boot prints found kind of over here rather than this way over here? And that's why they focused at later searches on here, maybe. But we don't know whereabouts on this pipeline these boot prints were. So I'd like to know the exact location of these boot prints. They also could have walked through the woods. This would be a more difficult route, but through the woods, and there are trails through the woods. But at somewhere on this pipeline, they found boot prints. So we'll come back to that in a second. Septic searches. There's all sorts in here. All right, analysis of boot prints. Between May 3rd and May 27th, efforts were made to confirm the boot prints located on the pipeline in the search area belonged to Lilly. The following is a summary. On May 3rd, Corporal Chichenchuk, I don't know, sorry, I'm butchering this name, contacted Forensic Identification Services to take a cast of the located boot print on the pipeline trail. So May the 3rd will be the Saturday. So they got a forensic person out to take a cast of the boot print. So they've got that boot print basically set in stone or set in plaster. May 23rd, Corporal Clip contacted Dunderdale and said the cast of the boot print showed a specific number, 29, as part of the tread. You know, some boots have got numbers on the bottom and you know what they relate to, but you don't really care. Well, they investigated what size this boot print might be based on the number 29. She wondered if the number was based on a design or size. Dunderdale went to Walmart and located several sizes of the same boot. The number, consistent with the case 29, was only found on the size 11 boots, but other sizes had different numbers. For example, the size 12 had the number 30, the size 10 had the number 27. Malaya said that she thought Lilly wore a 12 or 13. Which would not be consistent with the boot print found on the pipeline. However, on May 27th, Hall went to Walmart in New Glasgow with a record of Walmart transactions provided by Malaya. So they got all Malaya's transactions going all the ways back to March. He was able to confirm that Malaya purchased Lilly's rainbow boots on March the 20th, and the number corresponded to a size 11. So this boot print that had the number 29 on it was a size 11, and it was actually a size 11 that Malaya bought for Lilly. So this does support the possibility that one of the boot prints found on the pipeline trail was indeed Lilly's. Now, it could have been another kid who also had a size 11 boots, who got the same boots as Lilly, because, you know, these rainbow boots are being sold in Walmart in New Glasgow, so the closest town to Lansdowne, and it could have been a complete coincidence. However, if we're thinking like a cop, this is consistent information that supports the possibility that this was Lilly's boot. So Lilly was out there. Because Lilly's boot is confirmed to be a size 11, it's consistent with the boot print located on the pipeline trail in the search area near 1407 Gerlach Road, which is the children's home. So it's consistent with, they don't say it is. They can't say it is, because there could be another kid out there with size 11 boots of the same type as Lilly's. It's consistent with. Now, we know that air scenting dogs were brought to the area, and none of them located Lilly and Jack. We know where the blanket was found. There was no scent, but the blanket was found in a different location. The blanket, which was deemed to be consistent with Lilly's blanket, was found by Haley, Hayden, and Hayden's girlfriend, who found a pink blanket in the woods in a tree on Lansdowne Station Road. Now, Lansdowne Station Road is down here. This is Lansdowne Station Road here. So this is not in the same location as the boot print. The boot print was found up here. And they brought dogs to this area. So this is Lansdowne Station Road down here. Lansdowne Station Road. Completely different location than the pipeline, which is along here. No scent was found on here. No scent was found in this area. So how this blanket got there, don't know. I'm reading the information that the cops have laid down in words, in ink, in these court documents. So this pink blanket, police dog was called to the area, took photographs of the blanket, walked about 1 kilometre in the area with his dog on an adjacent trail. They did not pick up a scent to complete a track. So I think we can disregard the blanket as being an item that Lilly herself was carrying. How it got there, I don't know. Was it planted? We don't know. But the boot print I think is, if you're thinking like a cop, I think the boot print is more concrete. The boot print is consistent with the size of Lily's boot. And it says here they brought in heavy urban dogs who use air scenting to find people that are alive. But what they don't say is that they got any track from these dogs. It doesn't say that. It does say, however, that they went back to this area. The area they searched had previously been done with hasty searching and a dog, but were not grid searched. They conducted grid searches and overlapped in a few areas already searched to ensure that they had not missed anything. So that's May 17th to May 19th. Alright, so as I said in yesterday's video, air scenting dogs, yeah, they're great. They can cover a lot of ground quickly, but air scent that is on the air, is easily disrupted by wind. So what I've done is I found a weather report for Lansdowne on May the 2nd and the wind direction. So the wind is coming from a southerly direction. So it's blowing up towards the north. So Friday night into Saturday morning in the direction of north-northeast. And then we've got midnight on May 3rd. So we're moving to a more northeast direction. So the wind is consistent. So the wind is blowing up this way. And air scenting dogs are sent along here. So we don't know exactly when air scenting dogs were sent to this particular location. But the boot prints were only found on Friday night. If Lily and Jack passed by here on Friday morning, air scenting dogs are not going to be that useful. Now the wind is not strong. So if a dog is air scent along here, the wind is a crosswind, which is good for a dog. But what I would have preferred them to have used is ground scenters. Because if you've been missing for a few hours, the air scent has either dissipated or fallen to the ground. So you need ground scenting dogs to find a track and trail these kids. They brought the wrong dogs. They brought the wrong dogs, in my humble opinion. So annoying. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you want me to do a video about the different type of search dogs. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.